Hello, my name's Ian, and this is our pilot episode of Dragon Wings. We're playing 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. D&D is a role-playing game. What that means is that I describe the story to our adventuring crew of players, and in keeping with their character, they decide how they're going to act. There are rules, and you'll hear them throwing dice and stuff like that, but yeah, just don't worry about it. The game is sort of an improvised story. Sometimes the players will try and do things or use their mystical abilities that require a roll of the dice to see whether or not they succeed, or to what extent they succeed. Can I hit the beastie with my crossbow? Roll the dice. Do I know anything about this particular cult? Roll the dice. And that's more or less it. You'll pick it up as you go along. One quick disclaimer on swearing. There is quite a bit of swearing. Fuck, shit, bollocks, for example. We have decided to beep out the word because for lots of people, is the last bastion of naughty words. So you won't hear the word very much, and when you do hear it, it will be bleeped out. Anyway, enjoy the show.
Dragon Wing.
You're listening to Dragon Wing.
Absolute bits.
So, I think, first of all, let's go around the table to say who we've got. So, my name is Ian, I'm the DM.
My name's Harry, and I'm not the DM. I'm a
Who
player.
are you? Brilliant, moving on. Yeah, who you are. Any particular defining features about your being here at this table?
First joke of the podcast. So.
Yeah, get
It's good to get out of the way.
Jacob, Paladin.
Brilliant.
I'm Tom, and I am Oscarin, a bard.
Leaning back.
Oh,
because we don't
I
have
thought
enough
more
chairs.
was coming.
Yeah, Tom, by the way, is on a sofa because
Yeah.
I don't have enough chairs.
This is the DM's a bad host.
Shouldn't have to.
Yeah, shouldn't have to. Sorry, Hannah.
That's quite right. I'm Hannah, and I'm nothing.
And a woman.
And a woman. I'm a girl. I'm here to lend legitimacy to this whole affair.
Okay. And you're explaining nothing. Your name is nothing.
My name is nothing.
Okay. But what's your name?
I'm a tiefling that is sick of your shit.
So you got the horns, you got the tail.
Yeah. I'm orange.
Little devil fella.
Yeah.
Dav.
Hi, I'm Dav. I'm half Indian, half English, bringing the ethnic.
Sorry, I don't know if we needed to. It's in game.
My name, my character's name is Cassius Mutara, and he's a human warlock.
Can a tiefling? What colours do tieflings generally come in?
Oh, yeah.
That's you.
Rather than
So tieflings are all.
Thanks, by the way.
Orangey
range
red.
of-
Orangey red.
Okay.
But they can be any colour. It depends on what their root
Okay.
is.
cool.
But the orangey red tends to be the...
Yeah, orange.
But they don't... All of them look different, apparently.
Sweet, let's make a start. So,
Do you want to? Should we say what our characters look like?
go on.
Yep.
So Cassius is he's dark. He's got these big fat black dreadlocks that he normally just ties back into one massive ponytail.
Nice.
He's like 6 foot, but quite weedy. He's more of a kind of brain guy rather than muscle guy. Cassius Mutara, human warlock. The great thing about being a warlock is you get to make a pact with a supernatural being, and Cassius made a pact with a fiend. His powers were given to him by this demon lord called Gratz to avenge the death of his wife and his daughter being kidnapped. Obsidian skin color, kind of charming guy. I think Cassius knows that he's made a bargain with the devil, and I think that one day he will have to answer for the pact that he's made. I think the end game is getting revenge, finding his daughter, and that's all he cares about.
Nice.
Nice.
Can't be both.
Sometimes you can. Just look at me.
All right, Hannah.
So Nothing is a tiefling rogue. Through many years of practice, is relatively good at hiding her tiefling nature, in the sense she kind of describes, she's got kind of sallowy orange skin. She can kind of, she can style that out. She's got little horns, but you can kind of brush the hair over, but she has a 5-foot tail, and that certainly
5-foot tail.
often gives the game away.
A
hard to hide.
5-foot tail.
Yeah, that shit drags along the floor. It's a big guy.
How tall is Nothing?
Nothing is she's tall. She's just shy of 6 foot.
Okay, so it's nearly as tall as she is. Then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does anyone
Like
ever,
a dinosaur.
Does anyone ever abbreviate nothing to like nah?
Hey,
Not
Nat.
much.
She doesn't have many friends. I don't know. Maybe if she makes some pals, we might find
Zero.
out. But yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes she can kind of hide it, like whack it down the trouser leg or something. But it's very obvious. So yeah, basically, as soon as she turns around, the game's up. Nothing Demarian, Tiefling Rogue. Oh yeah. No, I think there's definitely lols to be had with her.
Oh, yeah.
She's just a walking, talking cliche, really. Nothing. As in that is her name, not she doesn't have a name. She is called Nothing. Because no one ever bothered giving her a name, so she thought, well, why not play on that? It was a classical tiefling upbringing with many of the hallmarks of a tiefling childhood. Initially born to your standard humanoid parents who were utterly horrified. So obviously she just spent a bit of time in indentured servitude to an evil wizard. He was a shit. He didn't give me a name, just put me straight to work. Mining.
Whoring.
Yeah, whoring. Not whoring as a young child. Quite sort of tough, horny skin. So I've had the tail since birth. It initially started off as sort of quite stubby. And then when puberty hit, it just grew at a rate of knots. Initially I was quite clumsy. I'd like knock things off the table with it, sort of like hit people with it accidentally. But as the years went on, I've become quite dexterous with the tail, and indeed, it's like having a third hand. Nothing's MO. I think if she met people that actually she trusted and she got on with, there might be something to be said for her kind of sticking with them and sticking up for them. So for now, she just does what the fuck she likes. At the moment, she thinks she's self-sufficient, and that's fine. She's sorted.
Nice. Tom.
So Osgerin is a willowy half-elf. He looks more human. His human features are stronger, so only slightly pointed ears, but he inherits the slenderness, the slight build of some of his elven forebears. And that's Osgerin. Loves a good insult.
Son of a ton.
Oh,
Loves a good insult. Yeah.
What's his go-to insult?
Sort of a commoner who's just going to call him a carry on, isn't it?
He just goes straight to the heart of the...
Yeah.
Osgerin Tanan, half-elf bard. Osgerin Tanan is a young bard who wants to find his own story to put up there with the greats. Brown hair, russet eyes, looks altogether unassuming. Dad is Merrig Tanan, the owner of Alucir's Rest in Suzail. Osgerin didn't really ever know his mum, and this is from regulars in his pub, is that his dad, Merrig, had a bit of a tryst with a passing elven noblewoman. She returned about a year later to drop off a baby Osgerin. His dad has not told him that. That has come from bar people. Osgerin is more concerned, and he has a much greater love for the spoken word than music. The feisty wench, she went to town, she ate some food, she had a frown, she met a man, he cheered her up, she's called a feisty wench, a wench. Osgerin has a story for everything. He knows the great heroic epics, but he hasn't got a story of his own to tell yet. He's eager, he wants his own story, and he's thirsty to find it.
Maybe we could give everyone a special spell slot where you can only use it once per long rest and to drop the C-bomb.
Burned it.
And if you use it more than that, you
lose a hit point for every dropping of the
I'm just
C-bomb.
here to get as fucked as I can.
Let's go.
I think in
wow.
the interest of not alienating
Drunken
potential
dadgins.
audience, let's
Potentially a normal.
let's not drop a C, but drop loads of Fs.
As Effie as you like.
Effie as you
No
like.
C.
And
Jeff.
if you want to use other synonyms for the humble C, then you can go ahead and do that
What
instead.
high
You
fantasy
absolute
medieval synonyms?
Cart.
Cleft, cunny.
Cunny.
Right.
Oh my god, Cunny.
Is this the only reason you got me here, guys?
What to validate?
Yeah.
It's validation. It's pure validation.
The sacred
Just because
C.
I've got one doesn't mean...
All right, sure.
Yeah, go on.
We've all...
You don't?
Anyway. Cheers, Tom. Harry?
Some days.
Jacob Marshall, is he's a big lad. He's 6'4". He's had a tough life. He is a disinherited nobleman who spent many years in the fighting pits of Westgate, only to break out and earn his freedom and find God. Jacob Marshall, human, paladin. He worships Tyr, an ancient god of justice and righteousness. He found himself dissolute and lost and penniless, and he began a career in the fighting pits of Westgate. But in the midst of that period in his life, he underwent this sort of Damascene revelatory moment in which this god of rightness spoke to him when he was doing things he suddenly realised were very, very wrong. He is big, he's 6'4", he's quite heavy set, he is 27 years old, he has sort of strawberry blonde hair, green eyes, fair skin. He looks it's funny, actually, do you know what? It's funny, he looks exactly like a young Dolph Lundgren. He has on his right cheek, just below his eye, a hammer, which is his preferred weapon in the pit. He's a conflicted character on lots of levels, and that is part of the conflict, is that he had this very privileged upbringing, but then spent actually the later years of his adult life among the Westgate underworld, about as gritty and dark as it can get. He was essentially packed off by his oldest brother William after the death of his father, Ronald, because he was completely disinherited from his family's wealth. So he feels perhaps one day he might be able to open up to them again, but when we meet him, he's still not there. He's still not ready for that.
Anyway.
This has taken quite the turn.
Yes. Sorry, I'm going to edit that shit down.
Play, new character. Love it. Let's go.
The Lake of Dragons is also known as the Dragonmere. Surrounded by several coastal cities and leading to the Sea of Stars, the Dragonmere's crowning jewel, if you can call a free trade, veritable shithole of villainy and piracy, a jewel, is most notably Westgate, the city of coin. Strangers to the city and one another, your collective mutual friend, Ven, short for Venifer, Wingman, was trying to find his fortune in the city of coin with a chicken wing startup food stand. Until last week, when you received word of his untimely demise.
Oh, Venifer.
A letter reached each of you. It's a simple single parchment rolled and sealed with a stamped wax binding from a solicitor's office. And the solicitor is named Blatterby and Gauls Discounted Automaton Legal Services Limited.
Catchy.
Sounds like a shell company.
Yeah.
All of the letters were delivered to you by either a vagrant or a young orphan child of some sort as couriers, and the contents simply notified you of old Ven's death with a standard letter. It gave the office address in Westgate's neighbouring town of Tezir, with a date, and stated some objects of note have been left to you. Please attend. In an old written way, lots of E's after all of those words.
Yeah, sort of non-standardised
Left,
spelling.
Thou.
Of
Yeah.
note with extra E's.
Did it have a stamp on it, like the...
What was the
Wax
whippersnapper called that delivered my scroll?
Yours
Yeah.
was a little blonde boy called Dimitri.
Oh, Dimitri.
Can you remember
Reliable.
who mine was?
But you doubt that's his real name. Yours, Hannah.
Yeah, mine.
Yes, yes. Yours was called Philine,
Oh, nice.
the Wanderer.
What was his... What was his genus?
He's a half-orc,
What was
isn't
his
he?
sort of... Yeah, what was his background?
What was his genus?
Yeah.
Animalia.
Yeah.
And his background was Acolyte. His background, he didn't go into his backstory a lot with you.
He didn't...
Here's your letter. By the way.
How did he feel about seeing me? Is he all right with them?
It's like an acolyte.
With tieflings, or was he
he
sort
gave
of
you
like,
he gave you a nod, a wink. You flipped him the customary copper
Nice.
for the delivery, and he went about his way.
Oh, lovely.
Starting his own journey.
What a nice start to my day, actually, because I get so much abuse so often. It's nice.
Tell me more about his story.
Yes, we could
wink.
do for Ella. Maybe you'll cross him again. We'll make a note
lovely.
for the next one. But that was all a week ago because you've travelled to Tezir a week hence for the reading of the will. And you're all currently sat in a dark, dusty room that looks like it used to be a chapel. It's lined with wooden pews. Some of the pews are broken, cleanly in two or in small piles of old wood. Large, filthy windows are letting in a few narrow beams of sunlight, and the air just smells of rot and damp and cold.
Why on earth are we here?
Well, you've all filed in one after the other and as of yet haven't said anything to one another, but the room is dominated by two figures at the end. One of them is a rather thin-looking automaton. It is made of wood and it has a long, slack jaw and it's poised behind a lectern. Its eyes are black pits of void and at the moment it is unmoving. On its cheek and shoulder, bits of the wood have rotted away and you can see copper wires and springs, and they're dimly lit from within by this flickering blue light kind of playing off of its features.
And so does it look like it's been untended, or does it look like it's just old and this place can't afford to fix it?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It looks as if it's a combination of uncare and uncoin. It looks like there's not a lot of money, not a lot of love
Two uns
got into this place. The other figure at the back of the room, hunched over this tiny desk, like a school desk, is an enormous stone golem.
Oh.
And the golem is staring glumly ahead, and every now and again he kind of rubs his fist across his chin, which sounds like construction work. And yeah,
All right, love, shush your tits. Yeah, careful.
all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, it sounds exactly like that.
All right, cool.
And traffic. And by the golem is a large hourglass. It's got red sand in it, and it's been running for some time. And the golem every now and again checks the state of the hourglass. The only sounds in the room are the sounds of the grain, of the sand running behind the glass, and also a tall grandfather clock. And the clock has this grinning demon's head above the face.
Is it just our characters sitting in the seats in front? Like,
Yep.
so we're the only people who have anything to do with this will.
So far, from what you can see, and none of you know each other, you haven't met before, but as you've all kind of come in one by one, you've sort of given each other an eye, a nod, and you've all come at roughly the same sort of time in the last couple of minutes.
So Cassius, being the investigator that he always is just has his eyes locked on this massive tail, and he just can't seem to take his eyes away from it.
5 foot.
Yeah.
It is.
That is big.
Never seen a tail like that. And he just leans over and says, "So, when did it get to that length?"
I think nothing looks at you with the disdain that you deserve. She's not had a good run.
And I say, "I'm sorry, but my wife recently passed away. And I'm trying to get over it, but it seems to be a struggle. I didn't mean any harm by that."
And
I'm trying to get over it.
It makes me ask strange questions.
He's just gone out
Classic
to...
widower.
Yeah.
Nothing looks him up and down for
Trying
a
to
couple
move
of
on,
moments.
obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Opens her mouth as if to say something. Then her tail just comes over her head and just hits you in the face with it.
Right. What do these horns look like? You said the hair
Pretty
covers.
small. They're sort of quite far forward on the head.
Yeah.
They're sort of black, slightly curled, but they're very small. They're like little, like a little goat.
Like little snails.
Yeah, like little boop.
Okay.
So you can, they're visible at the moment,
Like
but should I wish
satyr.
to cover them up with a bit of effort, I can do.
Small horns, big tail.
Yeah, so I don't even dignify that with a response. I just hit him with my tail
And
and
I
walk
just
off.
scoot on back along the bench where I
I'm
came from.
pretty tired of this shit already. I don't particularly regard anyone in this room as being someone that looks very friendly. I'm just going to go up to the wooden kind of figure.
Yeah.
A little look. Is there anything there that is particularly interesting?
Sure,
Anything that might speed this kind of thing along so I can get out of here?
Affixed to the lectern is this large wooden book. And as you peer over and past it, and you notice that as you near, the golem at the back of the room sort of sits up a little straighter and eyes you carefully as you're doing it. You peek over the lectern and you can see it's actually just this slab of wood that from the front looks like a book. There's no writing on it.
Very frustrating. So poke about a bit more if I can't see anything. I'm just going to take a seat and wait for this to be over because I really want to get out of here.
Does the golem? I look around and presuming that these are Ven's family friends, but does the golem look? So did it when it was looking at nothing? Did it seem intelligent? Because golems are normally just servants, right?
Yes, classically.
And that it didn't come across. It looked not as if it was a docile stone servant.
Presumably something's thrall. Whatever that is, it's not in the room.
Okay.
But it looks intelligent, independent.
Cool. I turn to Jacob and sort of stare up few inches at you because you're quite big.
Big guy.
Are you,
Yeah.
you Venifer?
Venifer.
Venifer.
He's a guy.
Ven, yeah. Ven's family, are you?
No. Hail and well met, Sirrah. Hey, just getting into it. Right.
Indeed.
Okay. No. I got a message from an urchin.
Is that how you're going to do it?
Well, I'm growing into the voice. I'm going to grow into it. It's going to develop. It's going to flourish. No, I got a message from an urchin telling me to be here.
That's did
And I know Ven from my days in Westgate in the fighting pits a bit. He would place a bet on me every now and then, but not well. And then I got this message.
How do we? How do we know Venifer?
You all have your own individual reasons, but I'd say for the most part, he's an acquaintance and a friend. You wouldn't have picked him out as somebody who would put you necessarily in his will.
Yeah.
You're not family, you're not close friends, but you know him.
Okay.
Overhearing these guys' conversation, I stand up and say, I'm not related either. My wife knew him. God bless her soul.
Why are you still talking about his wife? Nothing's main thoughts on Cassius were the fact that he would not stop going on about his wife.
Cassius Matara is a classic detective. One thing led to another. All his family died. Wife's throat got slit. Daughter's soul got put into a crystal.
Cassius is now so determined to bring whoever did that to justice. That really appeals to Jacob.
Is she
That
real?
wasn't even his character, that was his dad.
Is a man not allowed to grieve for his
Well,
wife?
you're allowed to grieve, but I doubt her existence, to be brutally honest.
I pull out a little hand-drawn picture of a woman.
Hand-drawn.
Yeah,
Well,
by me.
that's pretty easy to fake, isn't it?
I'll pick-
Hand-drawn.
No, it's pretty good. I'm a pretty good drawer.
I pick it up with my slender tail
And
pretty handsome.
and have a look. Yeah.
It's slender and long.
Yeah.
And in this
Building.
Switch.
It's like whip-like. It's not like I'm not like a fucking dinosaur.
in this hand-drawn picture, it's a picture of this beautiful lady.
Okay.
And my daughter, Corinne, I say...
Corinne?
Corinne's Jujia.
Corinne, and I say, my wife was killed and Corinne was taken from me.
I give you a long look. I'll put
And
it back
now
in
I'm
your
here
hand.
listening to this will.
Because
Solicitor's office overshare.
I was on way to find my daughter, but stopped off.
Just said hello.
this seemed like something more interesting to do than constantly grieving.
See if I can get any gold.
Someone else is dead, so I thought I'd check that out too.
I give him another long look and put the picture back in his hand. I'm still not entirely decided on what's going on here. I take a seat again and
Jacob feels sympathy, and he comes over and he puts a hand on your shoulder and says,
Thank you.
That's a sad tale. It's a sad tale.
I
It sounds like
roll
it
my
will weigh
eyes.
heavy on you for a long time.
And with that, I call over to the stone golem and I say, "Here, is this going to take much longer? How long do we have to wait here for?"
I've got a daughter to find.
That's a good
God, yes,
question.
exactly.
And now that nothing has moved away from the lectern, the golem is sort of back to disinterest. Doesn't respond, just keeps looking ahead. Though looks down at the hourglass, and it looks as though the sands are just about to run out.
I go up to the hourglass and shake it a little bit quicker, so...
Okay, as soon as you approach this sort of raised platform at the edge, it's kind of like this sort of stage almost. The golem you hear this kind of scraping noise as the tiny school desk-esque desk scrapes towards you, and this golem just kind of stares you down coldly. It looks as if he's sort of telling you to back off, not come any closer.
I heed his warning and say, I just want to get out of here as soon as possible. So please
Two of us.
hurry this up.
The golem just kind of nods its head towards one of the pews, and its eyes kind of narrow at you, daring you to do anything else.
I take a seat in the pew, the pew nearest to me.
Right?
I huff and I puff, and then I sit down as well. I do not blow your hands.
Now, two things happen at once. The sand in the hourglass runs out, and the golem reaches beneath its desk immediately and yanks at something. And at that moment, after a couple of minutes, but at that moment,
The golem sighs deeply, staring into the middle distance.
That's a quick nap.
sated, he gets on with his job, and the automaton's eye sockets explode to life with these two blue flames instead of eyes, and it begins wildly flailing its spindly arms, and it kind of clunks and whirs, and it begins to speak. It says, "Welcome, good madams and sirs, to Blatterby and Gauld's Discounted Automaton Legal Services Limited. Today we are here to celebrate the last will and testament of the most venerated individual, Venefer Wingman. It is the most venerated individual, Venefer Wingman's request that the last of his worldly possessions should fall to those closest, and that's you, his acquaintances." And at that point, the golem at the back of the room thuds out, and it returns with several large cases with iron clasps. They are stacked atop one another, and he slams them down, and then he leaves, and he returns with one last heavy-looking chest. It's wooden, and it very conspicuously has a series of holes drilled into the top, and that he places more carefully. The automaton continues, "The most venerated individual that was Venefer Wingman also wished to convey the following message." And the automaton's jaw keeps clacking up and down, out of time, though rhythmically, as you hear the familiar voice of your friend, Old Ven. And the voice says, "My friends, if you're hearing these words, then I've done been plopped in by some flippin' no good. I've been trying to provide the people of Faerun with honest, ethically sourced snacks. Now, obviously, I've been done in. I leave to you the seeds of my life's work, the means to find a legendary chicken wing dry rub. The rub went by many names. In Dwarvish, it went by Spezia Diavola. The elves dubbed it La Spezia del Diablo. And in the common tongue, it goes by the Devil's Spice."
The devil or the devils?
The devil.
The devil's spice.
The devil's spice.
Space.
"My kin have always sought it, and now I'm close. Each ingredient is said to grant an ability or power, and the full recipe is fabled to grant eternal life, and even ascendancy to stand alongside the gods themselves. But then there is the family in Westgate and their knives. If I go missing, start by looking there and with them. I think you're all adventuring, swarthy types, and it should be no bothers for the likes of you. Oh, and look after little Pluckers, will you? He's cursed, but he's a good lad. He'll help you out with running dragon wings. Now, how do I stop this bleeding thing?" And the automaton's voice jerks back to, "Thank you for your time, and on behalf of all of us at Blatterby and Gauld's Discounted Automaton Legal Services Limited, have a wonderful day, and please do think of us as your loved one did if you would like a reasonably priced service in the event of your untimely death and or disappearance." And at that point, the blue fire fades from the construct's eyes, and the jaw falls slack again, unmoving.
Did any of you guys even know Ven that well?
As bardic legends go, gathering a bunch of different spices seems quite innocuous.
Because nothing's not got a lot going on at the moment, she's kind of going along for the ride.
Jacob wants a mission. Jacob is someone who really desperately wants to have meaning and a cause in his life. But if the mission that's presented itself in front of him is wings, then he'll go with it.
I presumed you were his friends and family.
No.
And the simple answer is none of you did. Not particularly. A friend, an acquaintance, not a close one.
I didn't even know he sold chicken wings, to be honest with you.
Well, I worked for him, but like 3-4 years ago, I barely know the guy.
But before you are these cases.
I'm gonna have a look in these, I think.
Yeah.
Go up, mate.
Let's have a look.
Okay, each of the cases with the metal clasps swing open easily. And on the inside, atop each of them, you can find a few personal effects, simple clothing. None of it looks too rich. A lot of it looks quite threadbare. Mm-hmm. The majority of the belongings are heavy canvas, wooden stakes, oils, spices, and cooking implements. And one of the thinner cases contains a square sign. It has 8 chicken wings set about a multi-sided shape, and beneath the sign, in large lettering, read the words dragon wings.
Right, what do we do next?
Who was that family he told us to
His family
investigate? His family.
Probably plopped him in.
Check out the family with their knives. They had knives.
Like,
And little plucker. Who's this? I turned to the Stogo and say, "Who's this little plucker that he talked about?"
And as you say the name, the wooden box with holes drilled into it twitches. It also smells. It smells horrible, actually, as you get near
what
to
on
it.
earth is in there?
Okay.
It smells like rancid, kind of fetid, like refuse.
Jacob tentatively goes to open said wooden box, very slightly, just a
I
crack,
stepped to the back of the room
just a crack,
rapidly.
just to have a quick
Just the tip.
peek.
Just
Peek.
As soon as you touch the box, the lid bursts off, and a colossal chicken flops over the side and kind of commando rolls to the ground to its feet. It is enormous. It's the largest chicken any of you have ever seen. It's about the size of a small pig. It also has leather satchels slung across its back, hanging on either side of its body beneath its wings, and it eyes each of you warily, but immediately begins kind of nuzzling about your traveller's packs and actually looks kind of hungry. The box is heavily soiled, and the chicken's feathers are matted, they're filthy. This is weird. The feathers on the wings look pristine.
Can I
stark contrast.
can I have a quick look at this chicken and investigate what the fuck is how it's got so big? Is there any nature check on that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, a nature check.
Go for a nature check.
and we've got our first roll, ladies and gentlemen.
First
There
roll.
we go.
Step up to the table and roll the dice.
It's D&D.
That is pretty shit.
was
Nature 4.
You can barely tell it's a chicken.
You don't know, but it's unnatural.
So
We're not talking. Oh, what an absolute in awe of the size of this lad.
As
It's
like-
absolute unit. It's
Absolute unit.
in its unnaturally large.
as I'm going up to it and trying to inspect it, I just stroke
Oh
it
Lord, he
and
coming.
bring out a piece of bread from my pocket and just give it to him as a little snack.
Pocket bread.
The chicken snaps it up immediately, and you would assume that this is pluckers. It's described by them.
So does it otherwise?
very
It just looks like a massive chicken. There's
It is-
nothing like weird about it, other than the fact that it's fucking
It's almost spherical. It's like this huge,
massive.
like
It
chicken.
looks like shit, but its wings.
Its wings look
are
great.
pristine.
Yeah. In fact, you think it's probably been in that box for the last week,
Wow.
judging by the state of it in the box.
Yeah, I also just get some whatever snack I was eating on the way to the solicitor's office. Just throw some crumbs.
Nice.
so
It
little
snaps
pluckers.
them up immediately. It's sort of immediately, gratefully.
Does Pluckers respond to its name?
It does. It kind of perks up, and actually, as you say that, it's hops on over to each of you, and as you begin to feed it, it kind of begins, almost cat-like. It's not really clucking, but still kind of making gentle kind of noises. It sort of cuddles up to you a little bit, rubbing at your legs.
Are there any
is a chicken
in
all
any of the boxes any instructions on how to look after this little plucker, or any tips on how to how he kept his wings so pristine?
So what are you going through here? The boxes?
Or his box that he was in. I'm thinking
Nothing in his box. He does have the satchels on either side of his bag, and actually you check inside of those. They're empty but for a crumpled note.
okay. I unfold the note.
The note says, "The knives are almost upon me. I can hear them outside. Look after pluckers. The curse is linked to luck. And if my wanker sister turns up, tell her to go and the note just ends. But actually, the ink on the F is smudged, and you think the note was probably crumpled in a hurry before it could dry.
The wings are of luck.
It says, the curse is linked to luck.
Jacob has a quick route through the other boxes underneath all the cooking utensils and the old clothes to see if there's anything more interesting in there. Any kind of
You take
documentation.
one step towards the boxes as the door leading outside slams open. One of the hinges breaks and the door just kind of swings and lists to one side, although it's a pretty thin and cheap door. 2 women and 1 male orc half-orc, all heavily muscled and armed with long swords, stride into the room as if they own the place. The woman at the front has this unlit cigar just dangling from her lips, and she's got this old scar ranging down her neck and beneath her ragged leather armour. All three of them have got these matching bandanas tied about their right bicep. Yeah. And the woman strikes a match and cuts the cigar, and as she lights it, she kind of says through the cigar, "We're here for the old man's stuff."
Thanks for listening. Please tweet us your thoughts and brutal anonymous criticism on Twitter @DragonWingsPod, or you can send us an equally anonymous yet altogether more one-to-one barrage of thoughts with our email address dragonwingspod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, and see you next time.